So after you got out, you say you connected back with Cam?
After I got out, honestly, I talked to Cam. I talked to Cam while I was locked up, right? But it wasn't a situation where like he had reached out. I was in contact with Duke the God. That was my guy, Duke the God, Ash. You know what I mean? And they was sending me polos and putting. I mean, I would call them. They'll put their phones on, shit like that. And I would call Duke. You know what I mean? Once in the blue and shit. And I had called him on Father's Day to wish him Happy Father's Day, and he had like a gathering, a get together, and Cam was there, and he passed the phone to Cam, and that was like the first time I spoke to him, and that was the year I was coming home. That was last year, so that was after the freestyle and all that other shit, and I mean it was all love. He's like, yo, listen, Happy Father's Day. I told him the same. I said Happy Father's Day. He like, yo, when you come home, let's have a sit down, let's do some business and things like that. I was like, I bet. So we hung up and shit. And then when I first came home, I didn't really speak to nobody. I was just doing my own thing. Plus, parole was kind of on my body, so I couldn't move around how I wanted to move around. I had did High 97 and shit like that, but that was the first day, like, no, the second day. And after parole, seeing that I was all over the place, and my Instagram going off, Twitter, and I'm on YouTube, and this, that, and the third, and World Star, they put the brakes on my whole operation. They start saying, yo, I want to see paperwork. I want to see everything. Like, so I had to hire a new entertainment lawyer and get that resolved, and now I'm good. Now I'm Gucci. You know what I mean? And I spoke to Cam. The second time I spoke to Cam was June 28th. And rest in peace, my guy, Murph Daly. You know what I'm saying? He had passed away. He was with me on tour. I had a Zeus tour going on from May all the way to July. And Cam had called me. We spoke like 2 or 3 times and shit. You know what I mean? It definitely wasn't a time to talk business or nothing like that. It was a fucked up time because my man had passed away right in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but we spoke or whatever, you know. But it's all love, man. Like, that's the big bro, so, you know what I mean? I ain't, you know.
Well, like I'm gonna tell you, like as big as let's say ASAP Mob is, or you know some of the other artists coming out of Harlem, like what Dipset had done as a movement hadn't been done before and hasn't been done afterwards. Like you would just roll around and see people dressed like y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you would just see little baby Jewelses, you know, on the corner.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know,
I used to be in the club like, look at this nigga, red bandana on, looking like a fake Jewels. But nah, like I really saw the effect we had on people when I went to Japan. I had a mini tour in Japan and Shinjuku and other cities and shit, and honestly, it was like '08. This is around the time everybody's really like doing their own thing, but you know, overseas, they don't give a fuck about what's going on over here. They still stuck. Like, you go out there, they got Wu-Tang shirts, you know what I'm saying? But they had Dipset shirts, and we stopped selling those in maybe the beginning of '07. And I couldn't, that shit was mind-boggling, because I couldn't understand how the hell they had these Dipset shirts and Writer's Block shirts that I stopped printing in 2006. And they knew the words, but they ain't know no English. And they was rocking back from the front to the back, hands up, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, like, you know, and anywhere I went, I still feel the love from Dipset, period. I still feel the love anywhere I go.
Well, there was at one point there was like talk about Dipset getting back together, and there was supposed to be a deal with Interscope, and I remember there was at least one song that dropped that had like a bunch of Dipset dudes on it, and then it just kind of tapered off. I mean, from your point of view, you know, it seemed like, for example, Jim and Cam still ain't good, but from your point of view, do you think at one point Dipset could really get together and drop a project together?
I don't know. I mean, that's up to Cam. Like realistically, like he's the boss. Like he's, I mean, like he's the major key right there. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I did a couple shows. I did a couple Dipset reunion shows and shit, and it was all love. But you know, I don't know. The chemistry got to be right. You can't just do it for the money, because back then we was doing it to make it hot. Like we was trying to get hot. Now it's just like, all right, they cutting the check, let's do it. But that doesn't usually work. The chemistry got to be all the way right. Like we was like an army, And Cam was the fucking captain, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was really bossed up. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, we'll be in Sony when it was still open, and he'll have Jewels and Jim recording in the room, and then me and somebody else will be recording in the lounge, or with Duke the God off the mic. So we'll be going back and forth, and like it was all love, and it was a tight knit crew. It wasn't no outsiders like that. Like now, when I do a Dipset reunion show, see, I got my own clique, Thunder. So I bring my niggas, Jewels will bring his niggas, Jim will bring his niggas, Cam will bring his niggas. But before, I would pull up by myself. You know what I mean? It would just be us. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I miss it.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
I miss that whole energy. Because, I mean, I remember I moved to New York in 2002, and that's when shit was just popping.
Yeah, facts.
You know? And I just kept seeing the ascension.
Facts.
You know, up to a certain point.
Facts.
So, you dropped a new project recently called Meet Zeus.
Meet Zeus.
Why that name?
That's my alter ego. I recreated myself. I did a lot of thinking up top. And honestly, like, you know, a lot of my projects, I was really known for just spitting them bars. And honestly, like, I love bars. I love hip hop. I love lyrics. I love, you know what I mean, when a rapper put together his shit and it's complex. But like, I was already known for that. People know I'm nice. So for me to keep doing that, and it's like, to me, it's like, for what? Like, I'd rather, like, my only singles that really made it to Billboard charts was Grill 'Em, Get 'Em, Bird Call with Lil Wayne, and that's pretty much it. You know why? Because I was really focused on just spitting. I would just do songs and say, this don't need a hook. I'ma just rap for 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and honestly, when I go out, or even when I'm on the way to the club, I don't listen to none of that shit. I'm listening to shit that make me bounce, and you know, if it got some bars to it, like a Fab track, cause he knows how to incorporate that, then so be it. But honestly, I don't listen to hard spitting bars, and I don't want to hear that in the club. I don't want to hear that when I'm partying, when I'm in a good mood. Maybe when I'm getting ready to go to the radio and rap, I listen to some classic Rockefeller freestyles, Dipset freestyle, shit like that. But that's what I really focused on. I didn't want it to dumb it down and sound like one of these bozos out there, but I wanted to like add some swag to it and then incorporate bars and then put that all together, mix that all together to where it's like I'm not compromising my flow and not taking away from my shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what I did. And honestly, like, people love it right now. Like, it's only been out a week. It's almost over 100,000 downloads, and you know, it's a different feeling, because it's not just rapping, and it's songs, and you know, it makes me feel good, because it's like it's the first time I really stepped outside the box and really tried something new, because I would just stick to the same formula, and to see people accepting it and liking it and loving it, you know what I mean? That's what I do it for, like, you know what I mean? So, you know.
Well, I went through the project. And the one song that kind of stood out to me, you know, and kind of surprised me at the same time was the Dipset song, which had Rich the Kid.
I know you're going to click that first, because you said it said say Dipset.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep. How do you pronounce it? Is it MadeinTYO?
Nah, MadeinTYO. That's my guy. Shouts to my guy, MadeinTYO. My guy, Fred Money had hooked me up with Rich the Kid, but I've been fucking with MadeinTYO before Uber Everywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never heard of him before Uber Everywhere, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So how did you end up hooking up with these dudes? Because obviously these guys are a different generation, different style.
Fred Money, my little brother, that's who put me on to certain shit, from Jordans and shit I don't pay attention to because I'm grown now. He listens to all of that. Rich the Kid, not to say that I don't listen to Rich the Kid, that's my guy, I fuck with him. But he's the one that really put me on to that. Like, he puts me on to the new Young Thug and new this, that, and the third. He don't gotta put me on to the new Fab, because that's my nigga. I fuck with Fab, Jada Kids, people like that. But he's in tune with new artists, and you should get him. He's in town. You should fuck with him like that. And you know what I mean? I ended up reaching out with Tokyo. Was love from the jump, and with Rich the Kid. As soon as he touched down, we locked in the studio and Platinum Sounds and knocked that out. You know what I mean? Word.
Yeah, you know, I actually like Rich the Kid a lot.
Yeah.
He's actually one of my favorite new rappers.
Yeah, shouts to Rich the Kid. I fucks with son.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of like how they flipped the whole Dipset into meaning something else on the song.
Yeah, exactly. He had,
You
matter of
know,
fact, shouts to Tokyo. Like, he, the day my mixtape dropped, he had a show at the Gramercy Theater, sold out show. He brung me out to do that song off my tape at that show, and that shit was love. Like, I had people jumping off a song they didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Word. And after that, we shot the video for it. So, yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at, you know, because you come from an era, you know, you're not that old, but you do come, since you started kind of young, you come from an era of lyrics and substance and shit like that. Now, you have a breed of rappers these days who don't even know some of the people, you know, that are the founders. You know, I remember recently Pete Rock made some comments about Lil Uzi Vert and I think Lil Yachty, and I think it was Lil Yachty actually. And there was like this sort of like old school, new school argument over like hip hop and what is hip hop and so forth. And I'll be honest, I'm a fan of Pete Rock, and I'm also a fan of Lil Yachty and Lil Uzi Vert and all that type of shit. For me, it's just music. I don't really give a fuck. And I don't want to be that dude that just listens to old music and says all the new shit sucks.
Oh, no.
But from your point of view, when you look at some of these new rappers who don't freestyle, who don't rap in the traditional sense of you and other people from your era, like, what's your take on it?
My take is, honestly, I don't know who that dude is, Lil Yachty. I don't listen to none of them. I only see their names, like shit like that, but I don't listen to none of that. But my take on it is like, you know, music is music. If it's hot, it's hot. It don't gotta be bars all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? I like A Boogie. Like, he don't, in his songs, he's not spitting bars, but it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, shit like that. So, you know, I just like music overall. If it's hot, it's hot. If it sound corny and like you a wannabe young thug and shit like that, then I don't want to hear it. Like, I'm good. I can't understand you, really. I don't want to hear it either. Like, word.
Okay. Well, because I'm a fan of Young Thug, and people get on me about that. And most of the time, you can't understand what he's saying, but the vibe.
Yeah, it'd be funny
is
though.
there.
It'd be funny though. Like, sometimes it'd be funny. I'd be like, yo, what the fuck he say? I gotta rewind it. But like, you know, Fred, like my little brother Fred, he really likes that shit. But I handpick certain songs. Like, I like we running them digits, we run up the money. I like that with Meek. You know what I mean? I like certain songs, but as far as a whole tape, nah, you know. It's just, you know, it doesn't mean it's whack. It's just not the type of shit I like to listen to.
Yeah, fair enough. How'd you hook up with Dave East on your project?
Dave East is my guy. I knew him from the streets. I knew him way before niggas knew who he was. And anytime he wanted to feature, I was on deck. So, you know what I mean? I'm happy for him. Word. I was locked up the whole time he was killing. So me just coming home, before I went in, you know, he was still grinding. So when I came home, he was lit. I seen he got to deal with Nas and shit like that. So yeah, I had to grab him. Like, you know what I mean? That's my guy.
What do you think about the whole situation?
Man, my point of view, man, I really feel like they tried to paint a bad picture on my brother and tried to make him look like he was a hater. It was some envy, jealousy type shit, you know what I'm saying? And actuality, you know what I'm saying? Bro been having this shit, man. He been in the condo.
I got my hat on and I had my Coke bottles up under my hat. And I'm sitting at the dinner table like an asshole with the hat on, knowing she gonna tell me to take it off. And I'm just sitting there just gulping down, you know, in my zone. She said, take that goddamn hat off at the dinner table. I'm like, come on, Mom. Coke everywhere.